Suicide resets you in the game, take you back till you can figure out why you keep abandoning your post. So, what actually the reason people commit suicide is part of the shut off matrix in the game. The game is designed that if you can't handle the pressure, that it ejects you from the game. And so you have to leave a clue behind for somebody to know that there was an issue here that needed to be studied so that we can find out how to exist longer within the parameters of the game. Most of us don't know. Nobody don't ever tell us when we little. We know as you grow up, life's supposed to have ups and downs. Sometimes this shit supposed to get so hard you don't even want to be here no more. But you're supposed to work your way through it, and that's when the better days come. But it comes from not teaching people that life's supposed to get difficult, because the difficult times is the test for all of the easy times that you had before it. You were studying. Right. When you turn into a university, it hit different.
All right, let's get to the next question. Rod, can you explain how to reclaim family land if the corporation is defunct? Are land deeds contracts null and void?
The only thing they're going to be good for is what you call a trace record. The trace record is because, remember, the contract was canceled because they never honored the treaty. All of the treaties was all made up and predicated up on fraud, a constructed fraud. The constructed fraud was they declared $5 Indians chiefs and signed treaties as if they was with us. And when we seen in the South, a lot of us got trapped into what we call blind treaty agreements by not knowing what we call the Queen's language, and not knowing the legalese, and not knowing that they're not the same. So a lot of them got trapped into signing treaties that they knew didn't have a fucking clue what they were signing, which was fraud. So when all of the contracts is canceled, when everything shut down and come back online, it'll be a path clearly to find out where your family's shit at. Because the corporation is defunct. It's a wrap.
All right, this is going to be the last one. This is officially the last one. Brother Rod, can you explain the torus field? The torus field.
Okay, so when you got two polarities to a magnet, it creates a field. If it's laying flat, the field looks like the top of an apple, and it goes around, and the bottom of it looks the same. This is called a torus field or a torsion field. It's because of the pole in the center is it's projecting the field. Everything got a field. In the earth, it's called the atmosphere, but in the person, it's called an aura. And they are made in the torsion field. The heart chakra is in line with the crown chakra in order to produce a torsion field that's much bigger than the torsion field of your heart chakra being in alignment with your root chakra. When you have all of them in alignment, it makes your torsion field even bigger. So your toric field much is 60 feet around you. And when you wake fully into consciousness and your mitochondrial is putting out maximum output, which means that you get maximum information from the DEA, then you can reach up to 50 miles with your auric field. And this is why we are connected.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, with that being said, man, Rod, I want to thank you once again for coming back on the channel, representing, holding it down, giving out this information on the conjure wars like only you can do. Leave your information one more time before you get out of here, my brother.
Y'all catch me on Instagram at the SikApe That's at THESIKAPE. You can Hayes on Facebook. I do be on Instagram, but right now I have nothing scheduled. I might do a class with young girls.
We're gonna be on here for probably about an hour and change. So without further ado, let me welcome back to the stage, back to the platform. My brother Rod Hayes, man.
What's going on?
Hey, man, everything good, man. How's everything with you, man?
Everything's smooth. Everything's smooth. So, what made you pick this topic?
Remember, I talked to you a couple of days ago, and I was like, let me see where my spirit lead me. And I was just looking at videos. There was videos on YouTube that pop up on your feed, and one video had popped up about Amun Ra and how when we say amen at the end of the prayer, it's paying homage to him. And I heard Billy talk something about that.
God.
Yeah, I heard Billy say something about that, and it made me think about the movie Jupiter Ascending. And I remember Billy was like, yo, there's entities that rule planets. And I'm like, God damn. So I'm like, I gotta talk to Rod. Me and Rod Hayes, we be having some of the most interesting conversations. When I called this brother, I could kick it with him for hours if I had the time. But the brother well versed in ancient history. So I said, I gotta talk to you about this, Rod. That's what I said, yeah. Why you asked that for?
So all of our the subject matter take us back from origin.
You're breaking up real bad, Rod. Rod, you break it up real bad.
Go ahead and come back in.
Yeah. Go out and come back in. Yes, sir. Yeah, Rod's gonna go out and come back in. Yeah, it's robotic. Yeah. Rod, can you hear me?
Yeah, what did the other cultures say about the Milky Way galaxy?
The Hindus, since we're in the Hindu culture right now, what did the Hindus say about the Milky Way galaxy?
Well, it's one of the newer galaxies in the collection. Right? So it's coming into on a different frequency, and it was an isolated part of the creation where they just now in galactic time is fairly new. The Big Bang was just turning on the hologram. That's right. Yes. So now we get messages from 30 million years ago. Somebody know how to send us a message into the future from 30 million years ago. We talked about that before, right? So if they know how to send us a message into the future, they know that at some point in the future, we're going to be advanced as they were in the past, right? And the greatest advancement is to activate the Tesla coil-like dynamic of the women and their connection to the earth, because we're talking about bringing heaven to earth again. We're talking about expelling the components of hell from earth, right? So we, in layman's terms or in commoners terms, we talking about bringing the golden age out of a dark age, out of the chapter of misery, going to the payout of the misery into the chapter of joy. That means all the pauper guys get up now.
Oh shit!
Right? You see winos at an alarming rate. Stop drinking wine. Crackheads stop smoking crack. Heroin addicts stop using heroin. You're like, what the hell going on? Right? It's because the pauper guys that was using those substances to keep them at the bottom, they finna get their inheritance, and they're like, fuck it, let's go get paid. We can get another kind of high now. It's called traveling the world to see the different sights.
Right.
Pick up the love energy everywhere we go. Right? Because people are going to recognize that the pauper guys took the suffering so that the rest of them ain't have to, and then they're going to show gratitude. It's called pre-karma and the cashing in of the pre-karma.
Oh, speaking of showing gratitude, Rod, this sister here sent a super chat and she wanted to know let me just put this up here real quick before I forget. $SikApe. Yeah, shout out to Kata Leia's World. I appreciate the super chat. You asked for the brother. We Cash App. Let me just put this on the screen while the brother talk. For those who want to support the brother, and a couple of y'all asked about the brother's Cash App. Show love to the brother Rod Hayes with this groundbreaking information. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So the women make a grid around the planet. They forgot because the warring patriarchs removed the priestesses from their thrones, and they replaced them with this homosexual pedophile cult. Right? They run around dressed in drag, call themselves priests. Nobody's never noticed that all of them wearing dresses. What priesthood don't wear dresses? Indigenous priests. The shamans don't wear dresses. They might wear a loincloth made out of grass. They might make one made out of leather, right? They might have buckskin slacks on and a buckskin jacket, but they don't wear dresses. Right. Because they know that the priestesses were sacred to the earth, and for them to be re-alerted to their power is to tie them back into the earth. And you got the symbol right there.
Yeah.
You see the triple knot in the Heka?
Yeah.
Right? Those hands, those upright hands, is the symbol for Heka. Heka is an ancient subset of the temple magic of Kemet, which came from over here. A lot of people think that Egypt was the university. That was Hollywood. The university was in Arizona, in the Grand Canyon, at the original temple of Isis. This is why they finding Egyptian artifacts and Buddhist artifacts over there. This shit ain't nothing new. This is just another cycle. Right? So, if we gonna ever break and snap free from the imprisoned mind program, the miseducation of the Negro, all we have to do is remember when the energy shift, we would like for our women to be in the energy of gratitude. That's it. Because they gonna be the first ones to receive the source code. So when they get your semen to make your next son, they gonna scan your DNA, and then they gonna patch in what need to be fixed for the future to make your son better than you was. Right? That's their job. That's what women do when they gestate. They matching up genetics. They choosing traits.
Right.
Right. But because nobody's telling them what they doing, right? They don't know that when they nose swell up, they taking skin particles out of the air, reconstructing the physical body of a baby in their uterus. They don't know that because they were purposely denied the knowledge of self. This is why Elijah Muhammad was so adamant about getting knowledge of self. Knowledge of self ain't just talking about we came on no goddamn slave ship, was in slavery, and now we trying to find a way. And that's not knowledge of self. Knowledge of self is how your body works. How do your mind work? Do you know how you think that will help you learn better? That's all knowledge of self. Right? How do the outside world apply to what you experience in your internal world? Right? Because it's as above, so below, as within, so without. If you know what ails you, you know what ails the world. If you can figure out how to fix it in you, you can figure out how to solve the problem in the world. That's all it is, a game of problem solving.
Right.
Right. So when we start teaching our children, they took critical thinking and practical problem solving out of the curriculum. It was hardwired in the curriculum of our training and educational programming. Right? Critical thinking and practical problem solving is one of the first things that you impress upon a child in order for them to bring their internal greatness out, their genius within. That brilliance that the school system is stifling can be overrode by an adult who's aware that the child got a greater light within him. All he got to do is give him the rules to the game and he can handle it from there.
Right.
right? And that critical thinking and practical problem solving used to be it used to be in all of our curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the pre-karma, that's what's when the pauper guys take on the suffering. That's when they say the first should be last and the last shall be first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have to be last at the close of the age because you got to be first at the opening of the new age, the ancient ones.
Right.
Right. And you have to be properly compensated according to the law of compensation. Mm-hmm. If you're not properly compensated, then you can't properly perform your function. Mm-hmm. And this is what causes the rapid decay of a society like America. The inflation undermine what a person rightfully deserved for their work, for their labor. Because of that, it caused the industrial America to begin to decay. So corporate America have to try to bandage and patch it by downsizing and coming up with new ways to get the work done because they're not properly compensating the people.
Right.
Right. So they need to be of service. But they need to be of service to the workers that produce the products for them first in order to be effectively a service to the collective of the people. This is why we unionize. Mm-hmm. Right. This all goes to the cycles within cycles.
Right.
Right. And a good researcher on the Indian historical record is Michael Krimmel, who wrote in Forbidden Knowledge. That's a good reference for people to look at to understand. None of this stuff is new. There's nothing new under the sun. We do this every time. We got to close out the old age in order to bring in a new age. And the responsibility falls on the ancient ones to come back at the close of the age, figure out what the younger gods did, and fix that shit. That's it. And the more you fix, the more people can be fixed.
Right. Right.
Right. And this is why they say self-sacrifice is the highest form of sacrifice, because what you do to the self-sacrifices you make to make yourself better end up benefit more people than just you.
Yeah.
And the more people you benefit, the greater your value is in the spiritual arena. It has nothing to do with where you born at. It's just that you born where you supposed to be according to the alignment of the stars and the time of day. They look at your birth certificate or your birth manifest, and they know where every chief is born at. That's how the COINTELPRO was being able to be an operative and functional tool to oppress the people of the land. It couldn't work no other way if they didn't know where we were going to surface.
How do they find out who the chief is from the birth certificate? What is it on the birth certificate?
They looking at the time of day, the ley line you was born on, and which star is magnetically polarized to that ley line. Every metropolis is on an energy center. Everyone on Earth. There's in some of the energy centers, the metropolises have faded out with time, but you still have the remnant present.
Right.
To show you that we in cycles. So now they can look at which star is affecting or is being affected by the longitude, latitude, and triangulate. A chief's going to be born on this day according to the alignment of the stars. Remember when they told the story of the three wise men?
Yeah.
They knew that a king was born how? Because it was in the stars. Right? So the Pleiadian belt represents the three kings or the three wise men, right? But under the original priesthood, it represented the three sisters, right? And the three sisters operate on a game called Four Corner Shuffle. The Four Corner Shuffle is the 4X chromosomes. And the 4 and the 3 is the bands of the Pleiades, which is the seven sister seal. Right. So when the child is being blessed, he got to be blessed by seven sisters. They don't have to be blood sisters. They just have to have a blood tie to the land. 7 matriarchs. Right. So the 3 sisters flip you to the 7 sisters on a 4-corner shuffle in the family dynamic in order to reset the royal family. In order to bring the ancient ones back to the forefront, there's a mathematical formula, right? And it's through these formulas that we return the sequence of genetics in its alignment to the energy of the ancient one that was here before. But it's all cycles within cycles, layers on layers.
Hey, Rod, what happens to Enlil during the Golden Age?
Enlil is gonna be they're gonna do him bad. Apparently, they're gonna let him decay. That means they're gonna lock him into a human body that once he decay, he fade away. He don't exist no more. It's a ruthless form of punishment for the most worst of the eternal ones to turn them mortal. In their mortality, they can't restructure the spiritual matrix. That is like an energy. I don't even read them. I don't even read them like people. When I say Enlil, I'm talking about a frequency.
Frequency, right.
When I say Inky, I'm talking about a masculine earth frequency. Inky mean Earth Lord, right? But the owner of the earth is not a man. The owner of the earth is the women, right? And the men is the ones who protect the women while they take care of the earth. And we carry out the heavy lifting, and they carry out the decorating. What flora and fauna go over here? Right? What new animals should we create? Go tell the scientist guys.
Right.
Practice your ability to create by creating a new animal.
Right.
We need something big like a horse with a head like a dog and a tail like a shark.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck we need it for, but it looked different. Right? We had all kind of creatures of every possible imagination it's been here. Right? And